All right, sitting down with, I forget how many years you played, Jason, I'll be honest, but
long enough.
Well, we talked a couple months ago, but Jason Worth, Phillies, Nats, and now horse racing, entrepreneur. I don't know, you're doing everything kind of overall, but got to talk to you a couple weeks ago, but how you doing?
Good. Yeah, we started our partnership, Icon Racing partnerships. We raised like $3 million for to buy horses, so bringing new owners into the sport. And then we dropped our podcast. We're Icon Racing LFG on all the social media platforms. I'm new to this whole social media thing.
Yeah, I remember when we talked about this last, you were trying to figure it out. It seems like I
just hired people to do it.
Yeah, smart man.
Yeah.
Hey, know your lane. Your lane. That's what I'm trying to do in the whole media space myself.
Yeah, this is the way you communicate now, right? It's all through social medias and podcasts. No one's listening to traditional radio or watching TV anymore. It's all through your phone. That's what's so great about horse racing. You can be anywhere in the world, and you can be doing anything. You can be like, "Excuse me, 1 second. I got a race." And like for 2 minutes, you're just like, "Let's go!" and then you're like, "All right, thanks," and you're right back to what you're doing.
Yeah, that's just where were we? You know what I mean? That's what it is.
And that's what's so great about it. And everyone's gambling on everything, and gambling on horses is like, it's complicated, but once you figure it out, it's amazing. And like it's a 2 minutes. It's a 2 minute race. You don't have to sit around and wait for the outcome of a 3 hour game. If you're an avid gambler like myself, you need the action.
You need it now.
Now.
So it's so funny because obviously you had the great career, played for all the years, and then you pivot. I think I even asked you this when we talked a couple months ago. How did you get into the horse racing space? I mean, I know you had time on your hands now. You're like, well, what the heck am I going to do? But you are passionate about this. And again, for pronunciation's sake, because I just tried to practice, your horse, Dornoch.
The town of Dornoch, or the Royal Dornoch Golf Course. It was named after him. And funny story, me and Chase Utley were actually playing Royal Dornoch in Scotland the day that my other partner named the horse Dornoch. He didn't know that I was there, and it was unbeknownst to, it had nothing to do with us being there. It's his favorite course. So we were playing Royal Dornoch in the town of Dornoch when my partner named the horse Dornoch.
So it was meant to be. Goes on to win the Belmont.
The Haskell. He was up for horse of the 3-year-old of the year. Didn't get it, but he was, he'll go down as, he's a stallion now, and then he will go on to live in infamy in the sport, because the breeding is what it's all about. So he will breed they breed like 250 mares every year. This is a good gig if you can get it.
Also, we're talking about good genes, right? It's good genes, technically.
Yeah, his dad was Good Magic. His grandpa was Big Brown. So it's all about the lineage in horse racing, right? You really get into it. You start peeling back the layers. It's never ending. So it's a great sport to get into. The whole purpose of the partnerships is to bring new owners into the sport.
Yeah.
I think owning the horses is the way to continue to grow the game. Got my Marga hat on, make horse racing great again.
That's what it was. That was the abbreviation. Yeah, that's incredible.
The sport has been declining. They're killing the sport in multiple different ways. And I think that if we start bringing in new owners and get people interested in owning the horses, it'll revitalize the sport. Because when you own a horse, it's different than just going and betting on the horse. Like when you wake up in the morning and that's your horse, you check on them. It becomes a family member. And if they're good, like, dude, when they leave the gate, when they're running, it's like you're on the field running. It fills a void for retired athletes for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. And the thing also, when looking at all this, and I know you mentioned about with people who are skeptical or worrying about with horse racing, but I love what you're doing with Icon Sports or horse racing was the care you have specifically for the horses. And I think that's the emphasis, is you're trying to give the best care situation and
get rid of the stigmas in the sport, because the horses really are taken care of unbelievably. There's bad parts of anything. If you're going to focus on just the bad, we can talk about the low levels of the minor leagues.
Oh gosh, do we want to talk? Well, no. I might have to ask you a minor league story here in a moment, but go ahead, finish your thought.
Like the stigmas are that these horses aren't taken care of good, and they end up in these kill pens and and then the glue factory. That's just not the case. The sport's done amazing things for these animals, the aftercare programs, and I think once we get more people into it, I think we can bring the sport back.
So I do want to hear about some of those, like in the baseball. I was serious about the minor league stories and whatnot. You did talk about when you won the Belmont, or I'm messing up the pronunciation again. Dornick, not Dornock. See, I want to be correct.
I call him Dornock all the time, but it's Dornick.
I want to be authentic. I want to be it.
Yeah.
What was any other fun memories since you got into the horse racing space?
Yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing summer, right? We go up to Saratoga. We win the Belmont. It was ran at Saratoga for the first time ever.
Yeah,
and Saratoga is the oldest venue in American sports.
Really?
Think about that.
In anything,
it's the oldest venue in American sports. Like it is, and it's
an awesome
right
place. There.
This little town in northern New York, and it comes alive in the summer with the racetrack, and people come from all over to go and to hang out at the track. And the first time the Belmont was ever ran there, we were part of the team that won. It was just an amazing experience. We go win the Haskell. We come back to Saratoga, and we run in the Travers, and we were there for the whole meet. And just the summer that I spent in 2024 in Saratoga will go down as one of my favorite summers of my life.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Well, especially, I'm sure when you were playing, did you ever think like, yeah, I'm just going to get into this whole horse racing business when you were?
No idea.
No idea.
The sport found me, really. I was just playing golf with some guys. They owned some Florida breds. I was like, over the next year, I started to kind of get into it with them, and that was my start in the sport. And then a few years later, we have a horse that wins a Triple Crown race. It's insane. So now we're doing a podcast.
Now you're doing a podcast, man. So that's what is the name specifically for the podcast?
Off the Rail podcast by Icon Racing, and then again Icon Racing LFG on all the socials. You can guess what LFG means.
Yeah, I could figure that out. I could connect the dots there, Jason.
When the horses are running, when they leave the gate, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
Yeah,
I kind of want to be at a race with you now, and just and have maybe I do have to have some skin in the game if we're going to do this, but I just want to watch your reactions, because I'm sure you're very calm, as I can tell in the moment. I'm kidding. I'm messing with you. I know you're not.
They call it in horse racing being washed out. So if the horses come in the paddock and they're all sweaty, they call it washed out. So because it's like they're washed out. I don't know where they're.
Is there any other? Okay. Is there any other? Baseball has a lot of weird terminology in general here.
It's a whole different.
And when I try to explain some other comments that maybe I should save for later, I could say it now, but. There's baseball lingo. Give me a horse lingo. Give me another term. That's sit there and be like, what the hell does that mean, Jason?
Oh man, there's a bunch of it. It's like it's its own language. Like when you get into the sport, you have no idea what people are talking about. It's like when you go to the Caribbean, like they're speaking English, but they're not speaking English. So it's like you gotta learn all this stuff. Being washed out in the paddock is one of them. Like I'm typically washed out in the paddock. I'm like sweating the day of the race. I'm losing my mind. What's some other one? I don't know. You just gotta be around it. You gotta learn it. You gotta come to the track to find out what a great sport it is.
Okay, so we should come to the track one time. We'll document it, see what's happening, and I just want to see Jason's reactions.
Come to the
left and right.
We'll do the Preakness this year.
You're gonna get your Preak on. You're coming down.
I haven't been, so I should go.
Wait, you haven't been yet?
No, we ran in the Derby and the Belmont. We skipped the Preakness. So
Jason, come on. Well, I mean, not for this case. In a different sense, growing up, not for those reasons, but on the infield, apparently people would run across the spotter pots or the bathrooms. Yep. People would just chuck beers at them. That's a way different experience than watching the horses. If you want to do that, how's the arm? You can test it out if you want to drill.
The arm's done.
The arm's done?
It's over. Yeah.
Hey, before I got to ask, because I had Tommy on, Ozzie Smith, Larry Walker recently. All of them have minor league stories. Do you have like a minor league story that sticks out in your mind through all the years? I just got asked about a story for the first time about 15 minutes ago over here, and no one's ever asked me about. I got into a fight in Kinston in '99, and then the next year in 2000, we're playing the Indians. Kinston was like the affiliate for Cleveland, yeah. And then the next year we're playing in Bowie.
in 2000, and then we got another fight, and I got charged at third. I hit a home run, and I got charged by the pitcher at third base by Joe Roa. It's an amazing story. It's never been told. It's the first time I've ever talked about it.
So okay, I know I got to let you go in a minute, but you can't just be like, oh yeah, in Kinston it happened, and the pitcher charged me at third. What'd you do?
So in Kinston we played 4 games at home in Frederick and 4 games in Kinston. So it's 8 games in a row.
Okay.
Nothing good is going to happen in baseball if you play the same team eight days in a row. Right?
No, absolutely not.
So there's a guy on their team, good player, Cody Allison. And I think he was DHing, and I was catching. And every time he would hit the ball, he was on fire. Every time he'd hit the ball, he would recoil and throw his bat, and it would hit me. I was a catcher. It was just so for 8 days, I'm just getting worn out by this guy and his bat. So on the 8th day, I had enough. And I break his bat. And
he threw it and he just broke it.
I slammed on the ground and threw to the dugout because I was pissed. Like I was tired of getting hit by his bat. Right? It's like 8 days of this. This guy's like he's going 3 for 4 every night, and I'm
douche. And then
I got bruises all over me. I'm getting worn out. I mean, it finally hit me in the mask, and I was like, I had enough. So I break his bat, and the next time he comes up, he charges me and we fight. And then a year goes by, and we're playing the Indians again, and Joe Roa is pitching. Evidently, he remembers the
interaction. Yeah.
And I hit a home run off him. And that day, this is where the story that day, Andy Etchebarren's my manager in Bowie. I'm having the worst year of my career in 2000 in AA. And Andy calls me in his office, and we like yell at each other for like an hour. And it's like he's telling me I suck. I'm telling he sucks. Like, it's just
real. It's obviously very productive conversation.
Yeah, totally not unproductive. It was like my season that year, and so I hit a home run, and I flipped my bat. I pimped a homer, but it was more to be like, screw you, Andy Etchebarren,
to your manager, not to Joe on the mound.
Yeah, Joe took it personal. He thought, he's like, this guy's such a loser.
You could say he's a dick or whatever.
Dick. He broke a guy's bat the last year. He got in a fight. Now he's pimping homers off me. So he charges me at third base. We get a fight. And I've never told this story, or no one's even ever asked me about it. And who was the guy? What was the guy's name over there? He was the guy that gave up the homer to Bonds to Merced or I'm drawing a blank.
I know what you're talking about.
He was on the team. He was on the team. He was in
the so he remembers that.
He was charting the game, and he looks up and he's like, "Why are they fighting?" I literally 20 minutes ago, I told this story for the first time in my life. I'm like, "Oh my God, no one's ever talked about this or asked about it," and here I am. I am telling you about it again 20 minutes later. So twice in one day, first time in 25 years.
I just love the fact that you're just going at it. This whole thing started because you were pissed at your manager, not the pitcher.
Right.
But then he took it the wrong way.
So there was that 4 years later, I'm with the Dodgers, and Paul Shuey's on the Dodger team, and he tells me he's like, what happened in back in 2000 when you got in a fight with the pitcher? I was like, he's like, I was there rehabbing. So then he told me that he drove over with him. He drove over with Joe Roa in the car on the way to the field. He said, yeah, there's this punk on this team. We got a fight with him last year. I hate this guy. And I hit a homer off him. I pipped the homer. And now he hates me even more.
God. Okay, Jason, because you got to get going. I need you to come on. We're going to talk more about Icon horse racing. And I got to go back to your 2000 season because it sounds like it was a doozy.
No,
especially pissed off and Jason just kind of, sucking on the field. I got to hear more of those stories.
Yeah,
so Jason, I appreciate you. Go do your next thing.
Icon Racing.
We'll talk soon.
Come check us out.